All right, everybody, welcome into Real Talk with Spoon and Puddin. I'll be the one and only Big Spoon.
Puddin. I don't see that lady on here. The one that did the South Russell. Is she back on there?
I'll have to look in a second. The
That's
primary purpose of this podcast is to educate and share our thoughts and opinions. When we have proof and evidence on a topic, it will be brought forth. This podcast does not constitute advice and services to anyone. Spoon and Puddin do not accept any responsibility or liability for our guests or anyone's comments or actions based on the material we talk about on our podcasts. This podcast is for private, non-commercial use, and everyone should ascertain that the information we provide is correct and verified at all times. There shall be no adding, editing, or reproduction of this podcast without prior written permission from Spoon and Puddin. You can reach us at Real Talk with Spoon and Puddin at gmail.com. What's going on this morning, Puddin?
I'm just reading the agenda. You're the one who said it was a big one. So
It's pretty big.
I finally in the last section, utilities, but I don't see the rereading of that South Russell, that lady that they turned down because I thought they were supposed to defer that to the next meeting.
Let's see.
Well, she wanted that corner lot to be high density.
She wouldn't take it back residential, yeah.
Well, she wanted to take it from commercial to high density residential. And then they said no. It's because she wasn't related to the right people. She wasn't related to the boss. So what are you trying to do? You looking for it? I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it either.
No, I just see all the rezoning and everything. I didn't see it.
Well, the big one on there is the
reallocation of funds and the bank.
Is the Farmers Bank. That's the big one. Because if you dive into this, it's 16 under legislative on the agenda.
16D.
D, yeah. If you click in and read it, it's a 15-year lease. There's no money changing hands, and they have the option to renew it up to 2 times. So that they could be handing the chamber over this building for 45 years with no money changing hands, and the taxpayers have to upkeep this building and land for the chamber to use for 45 years. Look, I know we need the chamber. The chamber does good things. That's not what this is about. This is what's best for the city and what's best for the people. 45 years as an option. It's 15 years to start. The option to pick it up two more times. And you know as well as I do, if the chamber can stay there for 45 years and not cost them a dime, are they going to stay there 45 years? Probably so.
Why would you not?
That's what I'm saying. So my first question to them is how much is this building and land worth? You got prime commercial real estate right in the middle of town. What is it worth? All right. If they haven't got it appraised, there's their bugaboo number one. And if they have got it appraised and it's worth $1 million, $1.5 million, whatever it's worth, why are we hanging on to it if we're $50+ million in debt?
Well, I mean, why can't you put it to the highest bidder and sell maybe sell it to some big business that wants to be there?
Well, I know it.
Location.
Well, I know it. At one time that I think Megan's the one that said, well, we don't want to sell it to somebody and they bring in another Dollar General. But yet,
why did you just approve another Dollar General? Hobbit showed me a meme last night. There was a picture from somebody put on. Did you see it on Hip Portland where it said Portland in 2030 and there was like Dollar General house, Dollar General, Dollar General, Dollar General house, Dollar General, Dollar General.
No, I didn't see that.
I guess Michelle seen it last night. She showed it to me. I started laughing. And then a friend of mine commented on there, and he's like, "Wait, that's not accurate. There's still houses." But no, I don't know. Like I said, I was just looking at it.
Well, I know you didn't. You probably didn't watch the planning committee meeting from this past Monday. I watched.
No.
I watch all of them. But the Collins, they sold this land. Dollar General Market's going to come in. It's not just a regular Dollar General. It's a Dollar General Market, which, it's going to have a little bit more than a regular dollar store. So it's got their.
You don't reckon they got a cousin that works in the Dollar General Planning Commission, do you?
No, I don't think so. But anyway, it comes before the planning committee, and they're all talking about, and they're going back and forth. This probably lasts for about a half hour in this planning committee meeting. And they're going back and forth with the person that represents Dollar General, and I guess engineer or something. Anyway, that's representing them. And there's a lot of stuff missing. There's a lot of notes from the staff that they needed to do, and they're going back and forth. And they're talking about we don't really need to approve this because there's so much missing. There's so much needs to be done, and one of them made a motion to defer, and somebody seconded it. But before they went to vote on that, the leader of the committee there, I'm gonna call her Miss Bergman because I forgot what her married name is, but Jessica, she calls the mayor in, which he's always there trying to micromanage, and lets him talk. So he does his spiel for 10 or 15 minutes. And they vote down the deferment, right? Luther Bratton, which I commend him, and two different things he abstained because one thing, his daughter was in there trying to do something, and he told him ahead of time, "This is my daughter bringing it to you, and I'm going to abstain. I shouldn't have a vote in this." And then he represents Ty Collins in this property. And on this, he said, "I'm going to abstain from this because I shouldn't be involved in it." So I commend him for that. But so he only had 5 to vote. Well, after the mayor done his spiel and told them all that we'll make sure they do this and they hit every check mark. There's no reason to hold them up. Because he's talking about we don't want to halt our plans and we want to start construction and they're talking about well, they've already been waiting 2 or 3 months. And I'm sitting here thinking, I've been waiting 4 months for open records, and that's fine, But after the mayor done his spiel, then they voted and turned down the deferment, and then turned around and voted to approve it, and it was 3-2, and passed it, even though it had a list long where that hadn't been done and should be done. Of course, they put contingencies on that, but that doesn't mean anything. It's just crazy because I don't know what that was, but if you think the council meetings are a clown show, which I'm sure you do most of the time because I have to turn them off sometimes. It pisses me off so much. The planning committee meetings are not any different. You got this committee that's supposed to look at things and vote on it, and then they let the mayor come in and micromanage everything and just do whatever he says. I'm like, why do you even have a committee? Just cut out the middlemen there. Let them have more time at home, and just let the mayor and the couple that are going to make the decision just go ahead and do it.
It's the people in control of the city there. That's all they're only there about their profits. That's it. That's all they want.
But I want people to I'm not talking just negative here. I mean, I know there's people up there that work hard and they're trying to do the right thing. But I know there's other ones that are not. But I want you to look at this agenda. This agenda is a pretty long agenda. I mean, you got
the one I was waiting for was I wanted to see what happened to the lady on South Russell that wanted to go from commercial to residential. And you just found out, like I found out in the last week, that just past where they've been doing a lot of water samples from 1171 Vaughn. There's a big warehouse coming. I wonder who's going to get the pleasure of supplying that with water. A big old warehouse. And an Amazon coming up there.
That's what the rumor is. It's going to be right past.
Out in Robertson County.
Yeah, well, right
It's going to be
past.
Robertson County. It's going to be the city of Portland's strained water and sewer system that gets to feed it. It's probably being sold off of some Godfather-like family's land, most likely.
Right past
That's what I.
DHL.
That's what the meeting is. The meeting shouldn't open with prayer anymore in Portland. It should open with the theme to the Godfather. Just walk in and pay your penance. See if you can get approved.
But the the thing I'm real curious about though is 8 public recognition. It says 5 minutes per person, and comment must pertain to an item on the agenda. Well, what if you got 10 things to talk to on the agenda? Do you get 5 minutes per item? Or are they going to try to limit you to 5 minutes total?
Oh, they don't want to sit there and listen to the people.
Well, I know that if anybody goes up there and watches these meetings, anybody who's up there talking, most of them's got their head down, they're playing on their phone, they're doing something else. They don't want to hear the people anyway.
Oh, they don't want to hear the people unless people are calling them out and, slinging some poo in their direction. But no, it's this agenda, this just the whole world today is just so upside down anymore.
Oh yeah,
none of it makes any sense.
It's not just this town. It's county, it's state, it's federal.
Oh no, it's all the towns. I'd say more people probably don't realize how bad it is. They probably just haven't looked. I get where you're trying to go, Spoon. You want to get on the local level here and then try to go up. I mean, most people try to start at the top and come back down. You think the same people that control the local level don't control the top?
I know, but I'm going to try to make a difference on the local level, and if I can, then I'm going to try to go up and make a difference somewhere else. All I can do is what I can do.
No, I got it. I don't know. It's your town. I moved up here 12 years ago, so.
But I want people to, if you're paying attention to this, the meeting is tomorrow at 5:00, and there's something really important that 16D under legislative of the old Farmers Bank that they're going to just hand to the chamber for a 15-year lease with no money swapping hands. Now that's all in the paperwork that I've seen. At one time they talked about $1 a month or $1 a year. I guess they rescinded that dollar. That dollar ain't gonna do nothing no way. With the option of 2 more terms, 45 years. And if that building's worth $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million, with the land where it sits, and we're $50+ million in debt. I mean, I don't know about y'all. I think we could find better ways to use that for the people in the city instead of just handing it over. And it's nothing against the chamber. If they were handing it over to somebody else, I'd be saying the same thing. We have. That's why I said that one time earlier. We have two different not businesses, but charities that donate to the people on a daily basis. That I think me and a lot of the people would have been more okay with them giving it to the charities to run out of than to hand it over to the chamber or anybody else that don't really need it, especially when you're that far in debt.
Yeah. The debt ain't gonna get no better here. I mean, you said that one about America Recovery Plan funds or whatever.
Yeah,
they're trying to reallocate money from that for what? to pay their overdue bills that they're.
No, that's for waters. What is it?
Oh yeah, for water.
But here's another thing that the the council's trying to do. This was brought up in the planning committee on Monday. A resolution to make a temporary moratorium on the release of any new water taps or other increased water capacity requests. And this was brought up to the mayor when he was talking from the.
And then his boss lady over there across the aisle said, "Well, this is what helps. Is going to help fund. My brother's home development is going to be what helps rebuild the water system." Isn't
Well,
that what she said? Isn't that what the boss said?
oh yeah, but at the planning committee they said what are we going to do now? We're turning water taps and planning uh, planning decisions into political ones. That's what he asked the mayor. I like that. Uh, and the mayor, of course, the mayor had his political response. No, we're having a problem with the water. And I don't want people to understand. Even in the planning committee, which he's admitted several times now, that we've had this water problem for decades and done nothing about it. For decades, he spent the last 2 decades in office,
It says he owns it.
so he's part of the problem. You can't wait till the last year. Good morning, Jody. How you doing? You can't wait till the last year of your run and use that as your basis of your reelection and saying I'm going to fix the water problem. When you sit there and admit it's needed fixing for decades, and you've been part of that problem for 2 decades.
I know. Like I said, when you look at it, it just seems like I said, the South Russell thing. I wanted to see if that lady's was going to be on there.
I believe I guarantee you they probably deferred her to the
Way out.
planning. Well, see, they told them they was going to bring it up in the next meeting, but I guarantee you that somebody deferred her probably back to planning and codes committee
Mhm.
for the next time, which will be probably next Monday. No, I think they only meet once a month, don't they? So it'll be next month.
I don't know. Like I said, not knowing the new schedule with my new job, so I won't know when I'll be able to be there ever again. So, oh well.
And
But
the resolution to appoint an ad hoc committee to review the current city charter for any possible changes deemed to be necessary. Yeah, I could name a few that need to be changed. But the only reason they're doing this is because Mr. Dillard.
well,
the changing the charter,
oh
update it. You can thank Mr. Dillard for that, because if he hadn't done what he done, he would never have looked at the charter.
yeah. Well, who knows? Like I said, it's going to be interesting what they're going to do. You never know. You're going to be there tomorrow, so are you going to square off with them and let them know that their FOIA request and process is obstructive?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have their copies of the Tennessee state law, and I'm gonna go through it and and let them know what they're doing wrong and what should be done, and then talk on the resolution, because that open-ended resolution that they voted on last week.
Well,
Because
it's
because they're under the misconception of what public
what
information
what
is,
what what information gets released, of course,
what public
and
information is, and what private information is. Me and you already proved.
they used
You
to
know,
throw a gigantic book on your porch that told everyone's address.
that is public information, right?
Hmm.
That's why when me or you or somebody else requests a police officer's file, they tell him our name, address, and phone number, because that's public information anyway. You can still get that big phone book. You just got to request it.
Yeah.
That license plate on your car that you drive around in. Anybody can look up your information, just like you did. Google. You can find people's information.
Oh, I know. It's real easy. It's very easy. It's not the point. It's the point that what they did in the last meeting was sit around and act like when you file a FOIA request, you're trying to get someone's private information. No, nobody wants your private information, Mike Hall. And
Yeah.
what
And,
you're an idiot.
and like Diller was trying to get across to him about the retaliation, everybody wants to get pissed off when their record gets requested at the person that's requesting it. But here's a newsflash. We didn't make the laws and we didn't choose your profession for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Number one, it's public record. We're following the law. Anything we want like that, we can get. Number two, you chose to be a public servant. You chose for your records to be open. We didn't.
The bad thing about them going and being a public servant is the fact that they've seemed to make themselves quite rich. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Especially the ones in the in the city. Like the mayor. Oh my God! When you told me what his salary was going to be, I was like, for what?
Not counting state, county, or local government. How much of the population works for the federal government? How much do you think?
Oh, maybe off my top of my head?
Yeah.
What? Maybe 14%?
17%.
Okay, so I was being a little conservative.
All right. 17% of the population works for the federal government. You figure in the state, county, and city, what do you figure that's another 17 or plus?
I don't know. We've got a snake eating its tail in that department. That's for sure. I mean,
and they just hired 87,000 new ATF agents.
Oh yeah. Oh no, IRS. Yeah, IRS.
They're ATF agents.
No, they're IRS. They're going to enforce taxes. But they're going to give them that scary black rifle. Did you see the? Did
tell
you
them to use force? You can use force.
Did you see the post where it was talking to them about, and they took it down, but the internet never forgets, where part of your new job details is going to be an enforcement branch.
Yeah, I seen all that.
Oh yeah. Whoops, we should have put that up.
That's why I said after Red. So this is ATF agents. This ain't our IRS agents.
Oh no, they're IR. They're going to be at Waco. It's just going to say IRS instead of ATF.
Oh yeah.
They'll be at Waco and Ruby Ridge, coming in there to, hey, you cut the barrel on that shotgun an inch too short. Let's kill your family. Y'all people should wake the fuck up. I mean, seriously.
But they're not going to.
Oh, I seen a video. I seen somebody this week or last week or something that was talking about the big mass shooting, and they were talking about Las Vegas, and somebody said wounded knee, and then the comments got real heated on the video, like, the top comments.
Yeah.
And somebody was actually trying to argue that wounded knee wasn't a mass shooting because it took place by the Army. And it's like, yeah, no, they said mass shootings are committed by one person.
Says who?
No, says some, millennial pea-brains opinion of what a mass shooting is today.
Oh, somebody that doesn't know history, right?
Well, no, what he was basically saying was, since the Army was the one that mowed down those poor Indians, that wasn't the country's largest mass shooting, because the Army did it and there was more than one people shooting the rifles. It wasn't a mass. It was a mass shooting. I think over 200 Indians died. They were shot. They were gunned down by the government and wounded knee. You can look it up.
In all these other school shootings and stuff, has there not
been, it was
has there not been more than one shooter?
One of the good rebuttals was, I guess Columbine wasn't a mass shooting because there was two of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that was Columbine was the one that had two shooters.
What about the Bundys? What about the Bundys?
The Bundys.
Yeah. What about Waco?
Well, the Waco. I mean, that they weren't mass shooters. That was just, it was a, what would you want to call it? The government went to make some s'mores. We're having a cookout.
Yeah.
Waco was just a cookout. It was a government cookout. It was a picnic.
And when I talk to people about that, even to this day, that don't know about it, they still believe that the government is here to protect them and do what's right by them. and that David Koresh and everybody in that compound was wrong. Look, what David Koresh did morally to some people
They
may have
could
been
have.
wrong.
They could have arrested. They could have arrested David. He went to town every
He,
day.
he had a job in town. He had coffee and lunch at the same place. He went to the sheriff's office and had conversations with that sheriff like a dozen times over the same issues.
Mm.
The government was scared that he was going to grow bigger than what he was, and
They don't.
they wanted to prove a point, and they proved that point. Of course, they blamed everybody in the compound, but if you watch all the videos,
No,
you'll,
the
see-
AT.
you
No, you're trying to invade these people's where they live. You know, when you sit there and you see it and you see the gunfire, you see people shooting guns out of the side of the house on the ATF agents on the roof or whatever. Why's the ATF agent on the roof?
well, they
I
shot
thought you was
first.
who?
The
Well,
ATF did
I mean, what are you doing on these people's roof?
exactly.
I thought y'all wanted to arrest the leader, Koresh. The day before y'all invaded his compound, he was in town. Why didn't you go put some braces on him, take him to jail? Why did you go burn children? You know, but I mean, the numbers at Waco still were less than Wounded Knee. I
Oh
just
yeah,
want to try to stay factual that
yeah,
it was.
because some of them left the compound, right?
Well,
If
they didn't get. There was more people killed at Wounded Knee because I as soon as Vegas happened, I got mad and I said, wait a minute.
I think it was
Waco.
what 205 at Wounded Knee,
It was 200 and something. It was. I don't know if it was two.
207, 205.
Yeah, it might. I don't know. It was low 200s of people at Wounded Knee that were gunned down. They were coming to have peace surrender talks with the U.S. government, and instead of them, they were butthurt about Little Bighorn. Uh, Government was a little offended that uh, Custard's last stand, and they kind of opened up their guns and rattled them away and shot men, women, and children, gunned them down right there in the field. And these are the people that you want to have guns only in this country.
Yeah,
These are the people who say that you know some people aren't allowed to own guns because what? Because of you got a you have a felon. Well, it's easy to be a felon today. Write a bad check and see if you don't become a felon. You know, I mean, honestly, as far as I could tell, even if you were a car thief and you were a third degree felon for stealing cars out of a parking garage, I don't. Me personally, I don't see how that should take away your right to the Second Amendment. You know what I'm saying?
well, no, I mean, it all goes back to taxation without representation, right?
Yeah, the funny memes of the British guy on the movie, smiling. It's like the country that fought a revolutionary war against taxation without representation, hiring 87,000 IRS agents.
Exactly.
People, it's time to make a stand. It really is. You all need to figure this
You
out.
know, people, here's your sign. But what I keep telling you, the American people are stupid.
It's it's
Like
learning.
we like we talked about, like your sister. What'd you say? Long as she gets, long as she gets her drive through and all
Starbucks,
that. Yeah,
her iPods and her iPhone,
yeah.
Panera Bread or whatever the hell,
Long as most people don't care, and the other people that do care are outnumbered.
you know. Well, I'm gonna go make me another cup of coffee. I'm gonna go start this real quick.
Go ahead.
What you got? You can show people something. I'll be right back.
I was just going to talk to people about what the changes need to be coming up. We need to fix our water. We need to cut costs. We need to cut corners. We need to eliminate some of the top paying people at the top,
That was quick.
and then we need to
I let that make, and then I'll
we
add
need
my
to
creamer.
we need to find ways to pay the good workers more money that need more money, and doing also without raising the people's taxes, right?
I mean, when you're doing raises, I don't think you should be raising everyone.
No, I said the people that the lower tier people that should have gotten raises already the hard workers that you want to keep, those should be the ones getting the raises when they deserve them, instead of the people.
I mean, like I said, the whole feathery. All I see is that movie Inglorious Bastards, where the end when uh, Brad Pitt got with the Jew hunter and told him, that nice little you know uh, nest you feathered for yourself in Nantucket. Yeah, I just want to know what you're going to do with that outfit. You know, that's what I kind of look at. What Callis has done for himself as mayor is raising the wages up to 80K. That's like for mayor, and
Well,
your profession is you got hired, you got voted in, is deserving of 80,000. I
well,
mean, what does the president make? When isn't it below 400? I think something like that. Well, there've
no,
been a lot of people that said that Biden's job is less than 400. I think, and
I thought it was up to like 600,
no.
650,000.
There's a lot going around about Biden targeting people who make over 400,000 because he's not one of them. I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
memes about that. Like, well, what do I make? Oh, I make less than 400,000. We'll just go after the people that make more than 400,000.
Well, I want to put this out there to the people. My sources tell me, the word on the street from inside, the taxpayers has been paying for the mayor to go to these classes because he wants to be full-time city administrator. Uh, his plan, this is from the sources on the street from the inside.
Well, this
His
is like I said. We can't. We haven't. You told me about this. So before you say this, let me pause you 1 second. We're saying this to get it out there to try to prevent it.
Yes,
Understand?
and if he gets reelected, and it happens, we're going to come back on our podcast and say, we told you this was
Look
going to happen.
here. Look at this podcast. This is where we told you this is what he's trying to do. This is some of the dirty inside baseball that they're playing. So, all right.
Well, so the sources from the inside and the word on the street, we already know for a fact that we have been paying for him to go to these classes to be city administrator. He wants to be city administrator. He thinks he has the election wrapped up. He thinks he has it won. They say he's gonna, because Megan thinks she's got hers wrapped up, getting back in on the council too. So once he wins the re-election, he thinks he's got it wrapped up. Shortly after, he's going to retire. But before that,
he's got to get his degree.
Well, he's about done with those classes, but it's still not going to be a degree. It's just some schooling, right? It's not nothing certified. But once after he wins the re-election, because he thinks he's got it wrapped up, he's going to make Megan Thompson the vice mayor. And then shortly after, he's going to retire. That would make her mayor, and then she would appoint him city administrator. This is the word on the street. And if you watch all these city council meetings, how she takes charge, and him going to classes that we're paying for, and just watch and pay attention to everything goes on, that kind of lines up with how it's going.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It would, for that woman to be mayor. Oh, that'd be awful. That would be absolutely awful. That would be the absolute kindergartner, with the cookie dough, or just put right on his level, and no lid on it, whatsoever.
I don't know her. I don't know her personally.
I don't even know her. I've seen enough watching her.
But I know from the family she's came from, what experience does she have to even be doing the things she's doing? Telling the people from Retail Strategies to call her, telling that lady on South Russell to call her. What life experiences, what job experiences does she have to give her?
I need to remember to fill that for you. I want all correspondence between her and Retail Services,
Retail Strategies,
Retail Strategies, whatever.
Yeah, good luck when you get it. See, there's another
Oh
thing.
well, I'll probably have to come up there and take
So-
pictures of it with my phone, and let them take a blood sample on my way out.
Well, so here's another thing I'm gonna be hammering on because in the TPRA it states
We can bring in our own devices to make copies.
they're supposed to make it promptly and at least within 7 days tell us and give us a reasonable estimated time of delivery. And I'm still waiting on stuff from April 28th, right? And that stuff comes from the police department. So if the chief is accurate in his statement he made last week, that's under his discretion and he's in control of that, that's, to me, that is just such a big no-no. That's why the corruption happens. That's the whole resolution they passed. They left it so open-ended. They left more doors and avenues for corruption.
Oh, for more corruption. Yeah. Well, it's for more corruption. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
It's to slow things down, even as if they're not already on dead slow.
And the thing that pisses me off the most of this is they act like the people making FOIA requests, public records requests, because they don't want to go by FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. They want to go by the TPRA, which they don't even go by that. They just do what they want to do. They want to look at us like we're this big nuisance, that we're causing them problems, that we're making issues that shouldn't be made of. That's your fucking job.
It's not.
It's a state law. I did not make the law, and I didn't choose you to be a public servant. So I'm not the problem. Puddin's not the problem. The other citizens is asking for records is not the problem.
You not wanting to release the records because you feel like you have some dereliction of privacy that's the problem.
Yes.
You're the problem.
You've made statements before saying, or questions saying, well, we just wanted to know why you wanted to know this.
So
that's
like the fluoride. Look,
it's none of your business.
The mail that comes into my box says Portland, Tennessee on it. Okay. Yep. And I want to know if the restaurant that's in town making my rice is using fluorinated water for it. I think I have a right to know that.
Of course you do.
I believe that if I'm stopping at Dunkin' Donuts there in town and I'm getting a coffee, that and again, you the city could save the taxpayers money and remove the fluoride. It's allowable, and then the businesses wouldn't be required to put in filters. So basically, what you say is, well, we put fluoride in. Here it is. We're not even going to technically admit to you where it comes from. You've got to go look up the CAS number to find out where it came from. So after you find out that it comes from China, that it's, probably lead-based poisons that you're putting in the water purposefully because you want to help the poor people's teeth. Come on, get over it. Get over it, dude. It's a neurotoxin. When it got in there, like your joke about the cutting the ham, that was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still, I get it. You want to, okay, well, tinfoil, whatever.
Well, me and you both know how they all react. And if you look how they act and how they react, and then how the chief acts, because he's getting his officers' files requested.
You got his file yet, other than those two pages?
No.
Still only 2 pages, 2 recommendation pages. That's his whole file.
They're saying they're still gathering it. Is what they told me. April 28th. The day is August 21st, and they're still gathering the file. You're telling me there's no corruption there.
But he said at the last meeting that he follows the law, and when records are requested, I release them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But he also said under his discretion, right?
He was saying something about certain things under his discretion. Yeah, he acts like he has discretion to release his
well, this must be under his discretion, right?
No, it shouldn't be.
No,
but he follows the law and he releases things ASAP like he's supposed to.
But the point here is, if you look how
they out of both sides of his mouth.
Yes, if you look how they act and react at the city, the council, and the mayor, and then you got the part-time attorney who's a clown, and then the chief, they all act like we're the criminals here when they can't follow the law and release the records how they're supposed to, right? They want to look at us like we're this big nuisance and that we're doing something beyond the law, when all we're doing is following the law and requesting the records.
We're requesting it, and we're looking through there, and Of course, they're not going to release the. I bet you, I'd be willing to bet that there is stuff in some of those files that we requested from everyone that we haven't gotten.
I know for a fact there is.
Yeah, so that means they're not following the law.
No, they're not. And when you got to wait 4 months for a file,
Wait 4 months for a
you're
file.
definitely not following law.
Oh, I know.
It says promptly, and if you can't produce it promptly and it's got to be redacted, you tell the requester within 7 business days of a reasonable date that you'll have it ready. You know what date that was supposed to be ready? The reasonable date they gave me? I believe it was July 21st.
Yeah, I thought you
Yeah.
was,
So we're a month past the supposed reasonable, which that wasn't a reasonable date
no,
either.
that ain't a reasonable time frame. No. If you like I said, it comes down to if you subpoenaed the records at this point, honestly, or you went to court to demand to see the records.
Well, see, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place because I know for a fact I have enough evidence that I can file a motion in court against them. I can subpoena all those records and all the correspondence between everybody in the city and the police department over the records I requested. But if I do that, they're going to use that against me in the mayor race. Like, look, this guy's trying to sue the city, and he's got a judgment against the city, and he wants to run for mayor. So I either put up with their stonewalling bullshit.
Well, you take the big raise you're going to get when you become mayor, and you use a little bit of that extra money to then take the police department to court. Because you're going to get a big raise. That's a big raise.
Nah, ain't a big raise.
That's a big raise.
No,
What'd you say you make now? About 50 something?
58? I made 70 last year.
You made 70.
Yeah.
It's still a big raise. A $10,000 jump for.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't have to work as much.
Shit, we'll be working more.
Oh, come on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Come on. You'll be sitting there playing on your phone. You'll be like,
no. There's too much to do in the city and too many problems to fix. There'll be a lot of hours put in on that.
I hope you get it, because then you can tell me if you have a personnel file.
Well, sure, everybody's got a personnel file.
And that's not what the city said.
Well,
that's not what the city attorney said. He said it on record. He went on record.
A lot of people would call them liars, but I can't defend their half truths. Right? I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're half truths.
I find it hard to believe that, if the mayor, I find it hard to believe. For them to say the mayor doesn't have a file.
The comical thing was when we threw him out.
The only thing in the mayor's file is his payroll information, and that's private. Really?
No, his W-2 and I-9, those things are private, but his payroll information is public.
I didn't get that. I requested his file, but I didn't get that.
I got a list of everybody who works there and their pay. So, I mean, that's public.
Well, I requested each individual alderman's file and the mayor's file, and I got none of it. And I was told none of it exists. Doesn't exist. We don't have these records per the city attorney, part-time city attorney John Bradley. So
that's Mr. Big Time.
Who big time?
Mr. Big Time John Bradley.
Oh yeah, no, he. Like I said, he's the one that said that they don't have files. They don't have files. The only thing in their files is payroll information, and that's private. If you gave me one page, you at least did something, But I don't know, Spoon. We'll see what happens when you go for it. You got anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, I got a question for you. Have you come anywhere? Have y'all got my project done?
No, not yet. She's gonna do it today. She was thinking about big, or big, and then small, and then big.
On the back or on the front?
On the back. I'm like, I don't know. She's gonna do it today, and we'll try to get it to you.
On the back, you want to be able to see it.
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, she could always just, you could always just come by and pick it up. We'll just hang it, stick it in the old Ford out there. It don't, I never, You sit there talking about the Titan, and I'm like, yeah, the Titan locks. The Ford doesn't. The Ford, the old '86.
But the Fords will be the one they're going to steal. It's easier to steal than that
It
Titan
probably
is.
would be easier to steal, honestly, but I don't. I've never got a door key with it. I need to. I got locks out there. I just ain't changed them. But anyhow,
Remember,
no,
people,
just
local election, November 8th. You need to pay attention to these meetings, pay attention to what's going on, and most importantly, get out and vote. Of course, I want you to vote for me, but more importantly, I want you to get out and vote. Exercise your constitutional right.
like I said, you think about it. I mean, so you do make more than the city than the mayor now.
Yeah,
But next year, the mayor's going to make more than you.
I'm not there for
It
the money.
wasn't. Again, no, it wasn't the money. No, I won't. I don't think you're doing it because you want the money. I know that you don't. You already make decent money. You got a lot of home time too, so
What I want to do is I want to make a difference for my community. I want to make a difference to represent the people, the little people. Not the big money controlling people that has controlled this town for a long time. I want to end. I want to try to end as much corruption as I can. I know I'm not going to be able to end it all. I'm not naive to that fact. But I can
you
get in
can
there. I can get in there and get my hands
you
dirty and
can
eliminate as
definitely
much as I can.
you can definitely put molasses on it and slow it way down. That they'll have to make sure all their T's and I's are
And
crossed
I
and dotted.
and I promise you this: I'm going to work hard at fixing our water problem. I'm not going to sit around for 2 decades and then tell you, "Oh, now it needs to be fixed."
Hey, before I continue to support you, you're gonna get the fluoride out, right?
The fluoride's gone.
Okay. All right. Yes. Okay.
Well,
Charles, go for mayor.
well,
Hey,
it goes.
dude,
It goes before it goes before the board for a vote. So if I have any persuasion on that, it would be gone.
Okay. Well, I would say that you could always just, you know, keep. You can make their lives real rough on the board if they didn't want to get rid of it.
And another thing I wanted to hit on this this November election, the half a cent tax is back on there. It was on there in 2018 and got voted down. And
I don't want the city of Portland to be, since I'm close to it. I don't want it to be like White House.
well, here's the problem we're going to run into. If it passes, the city gets 100% of those tax dollars, which would, I think, it's going to equate to a little over $1 million.
Still take 50 years.
Yes, I understand. But what I'm getting at is if
that's paying the principal again. What we're talking about with the debt, that's only paying the principal, not the interest.
Right. What I'm saying is if we don't go ahead and vote it in this time as a city and get 100% of the tax funds, the county can and they will at some point go ahead and adopt it in anyway, and we'll get only a percentage of the tax dollars, and the county will get the rest of it. So if the city wants to get full benefit of this half a cent tax hike that White House and Robertson County and all the rest of them already do, I'm just giving you my opinion.
I think the city shouldn't have went on the hook for a lot of these projects in other counties.
Well, they shouldn't have, but we're
that's
all
what they're trying to. But what I'm saying is everyone right now watching this here in August of 2022 will understand the inflation, the price at the grocery store, how bad it is. Okay. And here they are coming to you with their hand out saying, hey, even though it's this bad, we want you to pay another half cent.
But you gotta understand we're all in this boat together that we didn't create. Somebody else did create it. It's got all kinds of holes in it. And I'm talking about massive holes, and everybody in there's got a little bitty old cup, and they're trying to throw water out and keep that boat afloat. Ain't nobody fixing the holes in the boat. Ain't nobody putting patches in it. Right?
They're all spin.
All right. So the only recommendation I'm giving is if the people want to see 100% of those tax dollars given to the city, not saying they'll be managed right and the money won't be wasted. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if we don't vote it in this time I don't know if we'll have a chance to vote it in it, or vote it down or in again a third time, because the county will probably go ahead and adopt it in before the next time it's able to come up, and
Well,
therefore
why
they.
would the county want to intervene and supersede and vote? Oh, is it? Oh, that's right, because you pissed away the city's money, because you wasted the city's money, because you didn't even show what the 4% raise, like was it Brian Woodall brought up? You said
Yep.
you wouldn't even, oh no, we got to go ahead and just vote this in.
The biggest bugaboo in our local government is the lack of transparency. They want to cover up and lie and give you half truths and not broadcast certain meetings and have closed door meetings of things that should be public knowledge and have 100% transparency. That's what Puddin was relating to when they voted on that. Brian Woodall told him in that meeting, you did not put it on the website. You did not put it on the agenda. We need to defer this so the people know it's there and they can come and speak on it. You wasn't transparent with them. Don't vote on it. What'd they do? They voted on it anyway.
No, they didn't care. They want to, put a 4% raise. And again, like I said, I'm the one thing I am curious about is if that's going to go across the board, you know,
It's not supposed to be
because
across the board,
you've already got an overpaid reporter. I mean, like I said,
you're muted. Well, Puddin's having some.
oh, there we go. I got it back.
I'm
Oh, I said it the last time.
He's a little slow learner.
I never would have imagined that, going into just starting a little petty job with the city 40 years later could amount to making more than people who've got over 2 decades in a high paying career field. That's ridiculous. That recorder makes more than you do. And you've got how many? You got over a decade under your belt of
Almost 2 decades.
almost 2 decades of driving a semi truck safely and providing real tangible goods and service.
I don't know. I don't know what's more ridiculous, that one, or our city engineer that started at 42,000, and in 5 years he's up to 120,000. I mean, he's tripled his pay in 5 years. And last year, the taxpayers still spent over $4 million for the city to hire engineers outside the city to come in and take care of projects.
It
So
just seems like we went in the wrong field.
I guess so. And my suggestion was, why don't
Who
you
knew?
hire? Why don't you hire?
Who knew government had an unlimited checkbook? You know what I mean? They
Well,
just,
well, when his taxpayers footing the bill, of course they got unlimited checkbook.
Well, eventually it's going to have to stop. Something's got to give.
So you're paying an engineer over base salary 120,000. That's not with overtime or incentives.
Well, another plan for the people of Portland you had was let's hire us about 5 or 6 real good engineers.
Hire you 5 of some of the best engineers, pay them 200 grand a year. That covers everything. You would never have to hire another engineer for anything. That's $1 million, and you would save over $3 million a year instead of hiring when you already got one that you have to hire outside.
Hiring a half-ass one that you still got to go hire real ones.
Yeah,
that's kind of like, all right, but that was another one of your little ideas. Or you could just hire 3 really, really, really good ones, paying them.
Yeah, whatever. But if you got one you're paying that much money for, and you still got to hire and spend $4 or $5 million a year on outside engineers, you ain't got an engineer.
No.
Kind of like those sports saying, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you ain't got any quarterbacks.
No. Well, you're always armchair and everything.
Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah, well, we'll see if you armchair your way into owing me another meal when my Florida Gators come up here and take on your volunteers. Are they up here this year or down in the swamp?
Dude, I don't know. I'd have to check.
I don't know. Well, we got to see. Our bet's still running, right? I'm up to 3 meals, I think now.
I think they're Knoxville this year.
I think they're in Knoxville, but our bet's still running, right?
We gonna go double or nothing.
No. I'm on 3. That'd be triple or nothing. Hell, I asked you the last time. I wanted you to, or last weekend, to come up and pay for it at Sonny's. Going up there and meet me.
You never went up there.
I didn't go up there last weekend. No, I'll be honest. It was my fault. I'm just giving you a little titty whisper. All right, man. Well, I guess we'll let you get some sleep.
All right, guys. We'll. Hey, don't forget, check out the council meeting tomorrow night, and we'll see y'all next Sunday.
If y'all are local, you want to go to the council meeting, I'm sure Mr. Charles Cole there for mayor is going to be there, and love your support if y'all want to speak.
Yeah, come speak on a topic, and
tell them how. Go up there and tell the mayor how we cannot let Charles Cole on the ballot. We got to get him off there somehow.
I'm surprised they tried to rezone. They tried to rezone like Gallatin did.
No. You're on the Collins's direction. They can't rezone it. They moved the city limits. How many miles to get them inside of the city limits?
Hey, the one time I know they helped me.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next weekend.
All right. Y'all have a good day.
All right.